The rain falls yet again, turning the streets of London to mirrors of gloom and candlelight, and as I sit within the carriage, shielded from the wet, my mind wanders to the events of the day, for there is much that demands recording. Lady Fenwick's conduct grows bolder by the hour. I observed, by means most discreet, her arrival at Lord Ashcombe's house just past noon, where she was received in the private parlour, the door closed, and the curtains drawn. The servants, I am told by a reliable acquaintance, were instructed to leave the room, leaving the two alone in an intimacy most unbefitting her station. It is whispered, though I confess I am loath to believe such licentiousness, that a ring, small and gold, was exchanged between them, hidden beneath the folds of her glove, a token unseen by any but themselves. I cannot imagine the Countess remaining ignorant of such a gesture, yet Lady Fenwick moves as though all the world is blind. Equally astonishing is the audacity of Mrs. Whitcomb's daughter, Eliza. She has taken to meeting her valet, Thomas, behind the rose arbour in the greenhouse, where the air is thick with the fragrance of damp petals. Observers, careful, silent, report that she lingers there long enough for the dew to settle upon the blossoms, fingers brushing in clandestine intimacy, her embroidery left abandoned on the drawing-room table, a sure signal of her absence. It is said the housekeeper suspects naught, though even the faintest trace of her perfume upon the door-frame betrays her cunning. One wonders what consequences might follow should her mother ever learn, though for the moment the secret remains her shield. Then there is the matter of the Duke of Marston, whose public composure masks a private passion most improper. Miss Rowley, dancer of some repute and notorious for her attentions to the Earl of Brentford, is said to occupy his every thought during rehearsals. Witnesses at the theatre whisper that the Duke's glances linger longer than propriety allows, that he attends to her movements with a care that is anything but professional. The Countess, of course, is likely yet unaware, though those close to her caution that patience has its limits. I confess a quiet thrill in observing the potential collision between dignity and desire. Lady Pennington and Lady Elmhurst continue their intricate dance of rivalry. The former schedules her soirees precisely to coincide with the latter's lectures on embroidery, a manoeuvre that draws gentlemen away from Elmhurst's instruction and elevates Pennington's influence. The young men, of course, are bewildered by these simultaneous invitations, forced to navigate obligations that strain both manners and inclinations. Mr. Dalloway, in particular, has begun declining Elmhurst's assemblies altogether, a quiet concession that nonetheless fuels Pennington's quiet triumph. These small stratagems, subtle and deliberate, form a war of appearances as delicate and exacting as the lace upon their gowns. And then there is the Viscount's heir, who has taken a curious fancy to Miss Hartley, a widow whose elaborate hats are rivalled only by her wit. They have been observed walking along the embankment, fingers brushing, laughter shared in whispers, a game of attentions that risks the ruin of her already delicate reputation. Should the matter be discovered, scandal will flourish, yet she carries herself with a poise that suggests both awareness and amusement at the ton's obsession with propriety. Even the clergy provide intrigue. Father Edmund, normally upright and diligent, is said to converse in hushed tones with the chambermaid at the rectory. The nature of their discourse is veiled, though the secrecy invites speculation, and the younger girls of the household are quick to remark upon the furtive meetings. Such things, observed and recorded, are not mere trifles. They form the very currency of gossip, as powerful and exacting as any duel of the tongue. Finally, I must note Sir Reginald's unusual wagers. No longer content with horses, he now stakes attention upon hearts. Miss Aldridge, sharp-tongued and lively, has become his target, and the subtle interplay of glances, half-smiles, and polite disdain fills the room with attention most exquisite. I have no doubt that these gestures will be observed, commented upon, and exaggerated until they bear little resemblance to truth, but I shall record only what I have seen, leaving embellishment to the imaginations of others. As the carriage sways gently beneath the rain, I reflect upon the delicate machinery of our society. Every glance, every whispered conversation, every concealed note forms the tapestry of the ton's intrigues. It is a world of elegance, ambition, and subtle duplicity, and I, fortunate in my station, shall continue to record it, preserving the details that might otherwise vanish beneath the polite mask of propriety. March 17th, 1872. The rain has rendered the streets most reflective this evening, though I find the true reflections lie not in the cobblestones, but in the conduct of those who imagine themselves beyond scrutiny. I write now with a mind most occupied, for the events of the past 2 days have revealed a pattern of behavior among several members of society that can no longer be dismissed as coincidence or idle speculation. Lady Fenwick, whose composure has long served as her greatest ornament, has abandoned even the pretense of restraint. Yesterday, shortly after luncheon, she dismissed her carriage 2 streets before Lord Ashcombe's residence and proceeded the remaining distance on foot, her veil drawn low despite the absence of sun. Such a manoeuvre would pass unnoticed by most, yet Mrs. Halberry's footman, who has a most unfortunate habit of observing more than he ought, reported her entrance through the side gate rather than the front. This alone would suggest discretion. However, she did not depart for nearly 2 hours. 2 hours in a house where the master is not known for hosting company without purpose. What is most telling is not the duration of her visit, but her demeanour upon leaving. I am told her glove was not properly fastened, and she paused at the gate as though to compose herself before stepping again into public view. It is further whispered that Lord Ashcombe has recently dismissed one of his housemaids, a girl said to be too curious, which suggests there are matters within those walls not intended for even the most loyal servants. I cannot help but conclude that whatever arrangement exists between them has moved beyond flirtation into something far more binding and far more dangerous should it be exposed. Meanwhile, at Whitcomb House, a quieter but no less ruinous entanglement continues to unfold. Eliza Whitcomb, with a recklessness I can scarcely comprehend, persists in her attachment to the valet, Thomas. It is no longer confined to stolen moments. It has become routine. Each afternoon, precisely as her mother retires to receive callers, Eliza withdraws under the pretense of fatigue, only to reappear later with cheeks flushed and hair slightly unsettled, though she makes every effort to disguise it. The servants, of course, have noticed. They always do. What concerns me most is not the impropriety itself, but the increasing carelessness. This morning, a ribbon, distinctly hers, pale blue and embroidered, was discovered near the greenhouse door. It was retrieved before Mrs. Whitcomb could see it, but such accidents cannot be indefinitely contained. Should even one whisper reach the wrong ear, the consequences would be immediate and severe. A young lady may recover from foolishness, but not from evidence. And evidence, I fear, is precisely what she is beginning to leave behind. At the theatre last evening, the situation concerning the Duke of Marlstone has grown impossible to ignore. He no longer conceals his attentions with any skill. During the second act, while others watched the performance, his gaze remained fixed upon Miss Rowley with a concentration that bordered upon reverence. When she faltered, only slightly, a missed step, he leaned forward as though compelled to intervene, a reaction entirely disproportionate to the circumstance. More revealing still was what followed. After the performance, rather than retiring with the Countess as expected, he lingered, not in the open, but near the corridor leading to the dressing rooms. He did not enter, he is not so foolish, but his presence there, combined with the knowledge that Miss Rowley delayed her departure by nearly 20 minutes, has not gone unnoticed. The Countess, though outwardly serene, departed alone. I observed her expression as she entered her carriage. It was composed, certainly, but there was a stillness about her that suggested calculation rather than ignorance. I believe she knows, and if she does, she will not remain silent indefinitely. If you found a bit of comfort here, tucked inside these quiet moments and whispered pages, I do hope you'll stay a while longer. This little corner we share only continues because of you, your time, your presence, your gentle curiosity. And if you'd like to help keep these stories, these secrets, and these soft evenings going, you might consider subscribing. Think of it as returning to the same carriage, the same journal, another night, another entry, another secret waiting just for you. I'll be here whenever you wish to listen again.